seedlings, welcome back to my channel. It's Madison here, or Dandelion. First, I'd like to say thank you for your patience. I'm also a filmmaker in addition to making content here on YouTube. So I was working on a short film, pretty busy with that, with shooting that film. But now I'm back and gonna be back on my consistent schedule again with witchy videos and other kinds of videos. But thank you for your patience. I also want to say thank you to all the new members that I've gotten for my channel recently. Every single one of you is so amazing and I love you all so much. Thank you for being a part of this community that I have here on YouTube. I value each one of you and I love that we're all a part of this community together. But today I'm sharing with you guys a little bit of a chatty video, and then we're also going to talk about some of the spiritual tools that I utilize that I made myself. So that's what this video is going to be about. You guys all tend to really like the more chatty videos, so I'm making one of those and also using the time to show you guys the tools that I have that I've made with my own hands. That's something that several people have requested from me, so we're gonna do both in one. So the first thing I want to say before we get into the tools that I am going to show you guys is that my September Reiki classes are now open. So Dandelion Spiritual Academy is now open for Reiki registrations for the month of September. So Reiki Level 1, Reiki Level 2, they're both being offered in September. So if you're interested in joining either one of those classes, then go to the Dropbox and hit the link that will take you to the Dandelion Spiritual Academy website, and you can request more information and then secure your spot in the class. So if that interests you, if you want to learn about Reiki, then that is in the Dropbox. And if you don't know much about Reiki, you don't know what Reiki is, I do have videos about it on my channel, so that's in the Dropbox also if you want to check that out. It'll be linked below and above. And I wanted to run a few things by all of you. So first thing is, with my channel members, I'm thinking of adding a couple levels to the channel memberships. So the first level that I have now will stay the same, but I'm thinking about adding another level, maybe even 2 levels, with more perks on each level. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys about is if I started, well, let's start here. I received a message on Tumblr the other day, an anonymous message, I don't know who sent it, asking me if I have a coven. And this is not the first time I've been asked if I have a coven. I've been asked that on and off over the years many times by lots of different people. And I've kind of always thought that it would be fun to start a coven and to have a coven to perform workings with. I've always been a solitary witch. I've gone to events and things, but I've always done my practice pretty much just me, which I really like and I want to keep it that way for the most part. But I do think it would be fun to have a coven that we create here on my channel, that maybe we meet every Esbit, we meet every full moon, every new moon. Maybe we meet when there's big life world events going on. We can do spells together for those. But yeah, we would celebrate all the Sabbats. We would celebrate all the Esbits. Basically, we would celebrate every lunar event and every solar event, all the Wiccan holidays. And yeah, so I wondered if that interested you guys. If I offered on my channel a way to join the coven, would you do that? Would you join? Basically want to know if I would have enough people interested in a coven to create a coven. If you're interested in that, comment that down below that you would be willing to maybe join a coven, or that's something you would be interested in. It would be, I don't know exactly how it would go right now. I'm still working out the technical bits, but it would be 1 monthly fee that gets you invited to every single coven event for that whole month. So that 1 monthly fee would get you the new moon gathering and the full moon gathering. And if there's a Sabbath that month, it would also get you into that. I was thinking also maybe for coven members, all of the classes I offer and services I offer would also be discounted. But yeah, so let me know if that interests you guys. I think it could be really fun. And I've been having a fun time thinking about all the things our coven could do. I was thinking about even having like a coven book club or things like that, and hopefully eventually it could get to the point where we could have in-person events. But yeah, it would be virtual, in-person, all the above. So if that interests you, let me know. Another thing I have in the works that's exciting that I wanted to run by you all is I've been thinking about doing starting to live stream on my channel kind of a study with me kind of stream. And you wouldn't have to study, you know, sometimes I think I would use it as like I'm crafting something, might as well go live on YouTube, and anybody who else wants to work on anything can do something also. Or I'm going to be reading this book, studying this spiritual book. So I'll go on live and everyone can read along with me, whatever they're working on or whatever they're reading. I'm thinking about starting study with me streams. I think it would be really nice to support each other's spiritual study, support each other's work. It doesn't even have to be spiritual stuff that you're working on while I'm working on whatever I'm working on. I think it could be really fun to just, you know, if I'm editing a video, go live and say, I'm working on this, get out whatever you're working on for school or your career, or your spirituality, and we can all work on it together from wherever we are throughout the world. So that's something I'm thinking about. That's another thing that let me know in the comments if that interests you, if you would want to be a part of that, if you think that would benefit you and you'd enjoy being a part of it. I really love Study With Me streams. They help me to focus. They help me to stay centered and focused and feel like I'm with other people who are also trying to stay focused. So that's something I'm thinking about starting pretty soon. Yeah, so I think that's all the little things I wanted to talk to you guys about. So let's get into the tools that I want to share with you guys. So I talked about some of these tools in my recent video where I did a whole tour of my whole spiritual area that you see behind me. So if you haven't seen that video and you want to check it out, that's linked above and below. So in that video, I talk about most of these tools. I'm going to show you a little bit briefly. But someone had requested that I talk about the tools more in depth, about how I made them and what I use them for, what they're made of, when I made them, why I made them, all that jazz. So that's what this part of the video is going to be. I did briefly talk about them though in that video where I toured my spiritual space. So you can check that video out too if you want to be able to look at everything you see behind me. One thing I want to say before we get into this is that I do have a few more spiritual tools and items that I made myself that I will not be showing. That's just because I don't feel comfortable showing them. They're more personal to me, and they're parts of my practice that I just don't feel comfortable fully sharing at this point. I think maybe eventually I'll show these items, but right now it doesn't feel correct for me. So these are just some of the tools that I've made. There's 2 items that I won't be sharing that I made myself, that I use pretty frequently in my practice. But again, I'm just not comfortable sharing those things yet. But these are the things I am comfortable sharing. So the first tool I'm going to show you all is the first tool that I ever made. So it's the first spiritual item that I ever made with my own hands. And it is this rattle. And it's a rattle that I made with the shaman that I apprenticed with. He guided me through the process of making it. And I use it in ceremony to call on my artistic spirit. So the way I created this was I'm a shaman. So like I said, if you know me, you know I apprenticed with a shaman for about a year, learning shamanism and becoming a shaman myself. So one of the things you learn is how to journey, how to do shamanic journeying. And the way that I created this specific rattle was I journeyed down to my lower world with the intention of meeting my artistic spirit for the first time. And, you know, this was years ago, so I have a much stronger relationship with my artistic spirit now. The intention was to meet the guide for the first time, and that guide was a crow. So this kind of, for me, comes back to my practice with Hecate. I had been working with Hecate at that point for years. And so I was very cemented in my relationship with Hecate and my worship of Hecate. So, and if you know about Hecate, then you know that Hecate loves artists. She's a very artistic deity, and she loves to create things and help people create things. She's seen in a lot of ways as kind of a muse for artists, so she can help people to create the art that they're trying to create. And so this for me comes back to that, my artistic spirit being a crow, and Hecate having such a strong connection to crows and art. All those things kind of intertwine. But my artistic spirit guide is a crow, and in the journey, the shaman led me through gave me the intention of wanting to ask this artistic spirit, what is an item that I can make to honor you and to use during ceremony and during ritual practice to call on you and bring you into the space, so that I can create my art. And this is the item that the crow showed me during the journey, showed me exactly what you see, showed me that it was a rattle, and showed me the symbol that I have painted here, showed me that this stick needed to be behind, showed me that I needed to braid something and wrap it around the handle, and showed me to put these dangling bits on the end, these crow feathers that I found, and these beads, and the continued braided string. So I might end up replacing these feathers at some point, just because over the years as I've used this tool, they've gotten a little worn. So I might replace those crow feathers with some of my newer, more beautiful, shiny ones at some point. But to get into more of the specifics of the tool itself, so like I said, these are crow feathers. These are feathers that I found in my neighborhood at the time that I was making the tool. And then this is just standard cotton string, black and kind of a light bluey teal. And then these are just some beads I got from Michael's. And then this bottom part, the wrapped around, is hide that the shaman gave me. All the items, all the materials that I use in these items that I'll show you guys, any of them that are from an animal, like a piece of an animal's body, they're all ethically sourced. So they're all from this reservation where the animals are monitored and looked after, and then when they die of natural causes, everything from that animal is harvested and used for something, whether it be food or items or whatever. So that's where all these things come from. So anytime you see me say that this is part of a hide from an animal or something like that, then it's all from that. Then it's all from an ethical source. So nothing is forcibly taken from an animal. Everything is taken with the idea of use every part of the animal in mind and honor the life and death of the animal. The wood of the rattle is just a branch from a tree that the shaman I was working with whittled into a nice shape. It only needed a little bit of whittling. Most of it was already a great shape. And I can't remember what type of tree it is. I should identify this wood at some point. And then I've got a little bit of string here. This is just a hemp string, just to hold everything together. And then this branch is, again, I don't know what kind of branch. It's just a branch I found on the ground that was the perfect size and shape for what I was looking for. And then this is just black paint in the spiral that the crow showed me I needed on the face of the rattle. And then this is deer hide, the rattle itself. It's dried deer hide, again, ethically sourced. And I sewed it together by hand. And then I inserted the beads into the rattle and then the stem into the rattle. And that's basically the gist of this one. Yeah, and I braided the string. I don't know if you can see the pattern a little bit, in kind of a chevron type pattern. Yeah, this is this rattle. It's so great, and I'll play it a little bit for you guys so you guys can hear how it sounds. And it's funny because even as I'm playing it, I start to feel the presence of my crow. But that's this item. Made this, again, this was the first item I ever made, so I've had this for quite a long time. The next item is a healing tool. Gretel. Gretel's here. She's watching. You know, she doesn't like to be picked up or pet or cuddle much, but she's here. You can feel her presence. You can feel the presence of the Cyclops woman. If you don't know, Gretel's my youngest cat. She's only got one eye. The next item I'm going to show you all is an item, again, that I made, of course, and it's a healing tool. So this I usually refer to as a healing stake. Sounds kind of alarming, but it's not. But it looks like this. So this is a branch that fell during a windstorm here where I live. And at the time, it was one of those things where, you know, sometimes you create a spiritual tool with the intention of creating a spiritual tool, like with the rattle I just showed you all. that was something that, I made very consciously. I was like, I want to make this for this purpose. How do I make it? And then my guides told me how to make it. This, on the other hand, is the type of tool where I didn't mean to, and then it just kind of happened. So that's really fun when that happens. Your guides kind of just take over and they're like, you need this, here it is. Oh my God, Gretel, you're so cute. I'm going to show you guys how cute she's being. She's supervising. She's supervising the filming. Hey, Gretel. After that windstorm, I went out to get a branch for, at the time it was around Halloween. And I think this was in 2019. It was around Halloween, and my sister was going to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer for Halloween, and she asked me to whittle her a steak for her costume, so I agreed to whittle her a steak. And so I went out, I grabbed a branch from a tree that had fallen, and I broke it in half so it would be a good size, and then I just started with my athame whittling away at it. And as I was whittling, I started to notice images in the wood. I started to notice faces and creatures, what looked to me like she, which is the Celtic word for fairy or fae. So I was immediately like, and I took it to the shaman I was taking classes from at the time. This was during my apprenticeship with him. So he immediately agreed with me that there were faces and images in the wood, and instructed me to journey to find out what this was for. So that's what I did. I did a journey with the intention of figuring out what I'm supposed to use this for. And they showed me that it is a strong tool for removing entities and sacred wounds from the energy field of a person, a place, or any kind of being. So I'll give you a closer up look at it. If you look closely, you can see the creatures, the beings that reside within the wood. And it's really so, like, hauntingly beautiful, honestly. I'm very lucky to have found it. And I've used it so many times on people during my Reiki healing sessions with clients. And it works so well. Like, so well. But yeah, so that's what this tool is, and that's how I made it. Very simple, just whittled at it with my athame until it became the shape that it is. And I didn't want to whittle it too much. At a certain point I stopped because I didn't want to affect the images that you can see in the wood. So yeah, that's what this is. The next thing I'm going to give you guys a closer look at is my drum. So this is, again, a shamanic tool. Pretty much everything I've created is shamanic related because shamanism is a big creating things with your own hands kind of practice. But this drum, here she is. This drum, again, I made with my own hands with the help of my shaman that I apprenticed with. And I made the beater also. And this drum is, again, remember, everything is ethically sourced, but the face of the drum is elk hide. The hide that is holding the drum together is deer hide. And we used some animal fat in the process when we were stretching the hide and to keep the hide moist while we still put everything where it goes. And then the beater, I can't remember what kind of wood this is. Again, I need to identify it. And then this is deer hide. Up here, soft deer hide. And then in the beater is buffalo hair. And this is all from my shaman, all things that he sourced ethically from a reservation that takes very good care of their animals. And I used all these things with the blessing of my shaman. He only gave me things that he felt comfortable giving me. So that's what everything is made of. I do have some plans to carve some symbols into this beater that I haven't done yet. I'm thinking about also writing some symbols inside the drum. Because when you use this kind of drum, the energy comes out this way. Like, so you're playing it here and the energy comes out of this whole area. So I use this drum for a lot of things. I use it for healings for people. I use it to journey myself. I play it while I journey. I also use it with other people to teach them how to journey. I've taught many, many people to get in touch with their guides using this drum. And the elk that gave the hide for this drum, I actually have met many times in dreams and during my journeys. So I do have a bit of a relationship with the elk that has so amazingly let me use their skin for this beautiful, beautiful spiritual instrument. But that's what this drum is, and that's what it's for. It's so, so beautiful, and honestly, it's my pride and joy. It's my baby. It's the tool I care about probably the most. Don't tell anybody. But I care about all my tools, obviously, but this one is like, oh, I just love her. So the two tools that I don't feel comfortable showing you guys, the one is my Book of Shadows, which just feels way too personal, and feels like it would impact my protection, sharing that with so many people so openly. I might share certain pages of my Book of Shadows eventually, pages that I feel comfortable sharing. And then the other tool that I don't feel comfortable sharing is a mask that I made. It's a mask that I made, again, with the shaman I apprenticed with, that is for the purpose of connecting with and channeling, invoking my power animal. So just like with the rattle for my artistic spirit, for the crow, my power animal showed me how to make this mask, what it should be made out of, and how it should look, and then I went ahead and made it. I will show it at some point just because it is so gorgeous and I'm so proud of it, but I don't feel comfortable sharing it right now. And I also have a few things in the works that I'm making currently, that I'll share with you guys as I make them, and maybe once they're done I'll do another video sharing the tools that I've recently made. But I've got a few things in the works for that. But those are all the tools and all the little chatty things I wanted to share with you all. Thank you again for being a part of my little community, and remember, you can hit the join button to become a member of my channel. And if you want to send a little thank you and support my channel without having to commit to a monthly fee, you can hit the thanks button to send a super thanks my way, and that's so, so appreciated. Thank you again to all of my subscribers. If you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you all for being a part of my channel. I'll see you all soon. Blessed be.